It's a tough question. I think for us as a team, success is just the buy-in of every single guy, regardless of who it is. I think that was one thing that we've definitely been growing year after year, and then obviously accumulating into the Cup year. And when everybody's on the same page and committed and just believing what we all know we're capable of, and I think that's when we're a force to be reckoned with. Because I think this team is capable a lot again, and hopefully a lot in the years coming. Calgary, obviously just born and raised there, so I was very fortunate. We have all my family and then make so many friends there. And growing up and playing with so many friends in hockey, and for us as a family, a lot of the family played hockey, so I was obviously introduced at a super young age. So getting into that and just being able to enjoy like outdoor rink sessions and stuff like that was a lot of fun, and those are memories that I cherish. So my brother and I just had so many good battles and stuff on the outdoor rinks at wintertime, and those were just kind of fun because you're just out there doing your own thing, and whether it's just us playing game or one of us is playing goalie or whatnot, we were both very competitive, and we kind of both pushed each other to be better, even though he's younger, obviously, but at least that's the way that I looked at it. So no, I'm fortunate to have a good family and a good brother. My kind of thing was I wanted to look at both routes, whether it was major, junior, or college. And for me, I had a cousin that actually played for the Bandits at the time, and so I started learning a lot about the NCAA side of things, and Brooks kind of reached out and saw me, and yeah, I was obviously being one of the better spots in the league at that time. I felt like I could learn a lot there and progress, and seeing their track record of getting guys to the next level. So that was my goal, and yeah, Brooks was definitely a great spot.
Left circle, shoots off a stick, rebound, Makar shoots, score! He's in down the middle, cuts left wing side of the circle for Brooks as they try to get some pressure. Fed to the slot, Makar waits and shoots, scores! Skates down the boards to the corner, stops up there, then got around a defender to the side of the net, cuts in front, shoots and scores!
First time I heard of Cale Makar was as we were getting ready for that draft, because when you're starting to do the draft lottery, you're thinking, okay, 48-point season, and we have to get the number 1 overall pick. Absolutely have to. Didn't get number 1, didn't get number 2, didn't get number 3. The Avalanche, with the worst record in the NHL in recent memory, the year before, get pick number 4. And Cale Makar probably should be number 1. If you redraft that draft class, Cale Makar is number 1.
Proud to select from Brooks, the Alberta Junior Hockey League, Cale Makar.
He falls to the Avalanche at number 4, and that is one of the greatest gifts I think that hockey has ever given. And the Avalanche and their fans are the recipients. So the first time I heard of Cale Makar was when we were preparing, and the debate was going on, okay, this is a little bit of an unconventional defenseman, but he's a difference maker. He will show up in every single game, and you had a Canadian version in Cale Makar, you had a Finnish version in Miro Heiskanen. Who's going to go where? Who's going to go to Dallas? Who's going to go to the Avalanche? And the Stars at number 3 take Heiskanen. So here's Cale Makar for the Avs.
Yeah, World Juniors was awesome. I think that was a very pivotal experience in my mind. My first year was a relatively average of college, I think, and then when I went to World Juniors, it kind of felt like I found my game a little bit. I wasn't really finding a groove at school, and I was able to kind of find that groove with that group of guys and kind of boost some confidence going into the second half of the year. So for me, the World Juniors was super exciting. I met a lot of new guys there, obviously a lot of great players around Canada, and then some guys that I had played with before as well, so that was super fun. They did a really good job of preparing the little details in Brooks, and I think those transition to college very well. I think it's a very large jump going from junior to college. You're playing a lot faster game, it's more physical, and it definitely took me a little bit of time to get around, but no, I was very fortunate to have such a great staff at UMass too, and a great team there, and Brooks just kind of elevating my game to that next level to help me get to that step. So. Fortunate that I chose this school, and it's a jersey that I'm very proud to wear, and honestly it's going to be a couple of years that I never forget in my entire life.
19 Hobie Baker Award winner is Cale Makar.
They got really high really quick, the expectations for Cale Makar, because he's taking UMass to the national championship game days before. He's going to make his NHL debut in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, it was just a whirlwind of a couple days. I think inevitably we kind of figured I'd probably sign after the year, so I don't think there was really any initial call. I think obviously once we lost that national championship game, everything just started moving very fast. And for me, I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know if I was going to play any games. I just wanted to come in, help the team how I could, and I wasn't trying to kind of stir anything up. I just wanted to obviously come in and show what I have. So I think they did it right in terms of just throwing me into the fire kind of and not letting me just be there to process things for a little bit. I think just doing that didn't allow me to think, and I kind of just went out there and played my game, and yeah, so.
Saturday, played the NCAA championship game yesterday, signed a contract to make his NHL debut tonight. Landeskog and McKinnon as Makar jumps in, moves it and shoots. Cale Makar, welcome to the National Hockey League. His mom and dad are here. It's the first period of his first game, and he scores in the...
You knew that he was going to come in and make an immediate impact, and he did. In his first game, his first shot, gets his first goal. Happens to be the game winner, happens to be against the Calgary Flames. Again, you make that stuff up in a video game. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. But it happened with Cale Makar.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. People think like obviously you're going from playing college, but in my mind college is relatively close physically, I think, to the NHL somewhat. And in college, for the last month, the 2 months of the season, we were playing playoff games. So coming in here, I still had that same mentality of it was a must-win game and stuff. And obviously you're playing really good competition, and then you go to playing the best players in the world. So no, it was a cool experience for that first game. Something I'll never forget for sure.
It went from he can contribute in a lineup to this is a number one defenseman on the Avalanche, but also 2019-20. You started to see this is a candidate for the top defenseman in the National Hockey League. Got more so in the season after, and the season after that.
Once again, 15 to go. That shot, they score! Cale Makar runs it to 17. And up top for Cale, settles it down and shoots! Score! Cale Makar gives the far side, score! Cale Makar, his second goal of the game, a perfect feed from McKinnon.
I don't know if I had like one of those moments. I mean, I think the next season for sure, I think we went to Pittsburgh pretty early on, and like you line up and you see Crosby, and like you're like, wow, that's really cool. You watch that guy for the last 10, 15 years of my life, and you're now like standing there beside him. So there was definitely quite a few of those moments, but you try and keep them pretty internal.
When you are looking around the National Hockey League and you're talking about faces of each franchise, you usually have your 2 or 3 guys that you pick out. Ever since 2019, 2020, it's been Cale Makar on that list, Mikko Rantanen on that list, Nathan MacKinnon on that list. But you can't talk about the Colorado Avalanche since Cale Makar has been in the league without talking about Cale Makar. He is that important not only to this team, but to this league. There's a reason he's on the cover of NHL 24. There's a reason that they want him at every media day for national television, for the National Hockey League. You want his voice, you want his face, you want to see him on the ice. No matter who you are in whatever building in the National Hockey League, you want to go to watch Cale Makar, because that type of elite talent is what you want to see. You want to see the McKinnons, the Rantanens, the McDavids, the Austin Matthews. And when you're talking about elite talent in the National Hockey League, you are always talking about
Cale Makar.
Our team was in a good spot that year that I was fortunate enough to be up for that award, and I don't think at all it should put pressure on somebody. I mean, for me, it's always internal. I always want to be getting better, and just really that factor of never being satisfied. And I think if you can keep that and just continue to work, it'll treat you well. So for me, I was fortunate. I think a lot of other guys should have been nominated for awards that year on our team, but yeah.
Going on from there, obviously the boys, we got some important things to do tomorrow, but overall, it's this one goes to them for sure.
I think the greats always enjoy pressure, and you have great competitors on this hockey team, Cale Makar being one of them. And after exiting the year when they won the President's Trophy, that never sat well, ever. That was a sour taste for a long time. I think that was one of, if not the biggest motivating factor for the Avalanche to win the Stanley Cup in 2022, because they had the best record in the National Hockey League the year before.
Shoots to the top of the circle, and a wrist shot. He scores! Cale Makar!
It's definitely different. I think just obviously being through 3 straight years of second round exits was a learning curve. And I mean, every team goes through those buffer zones, and for us, I think we learned a lot in just the factor of what it's going to take and what different things guys need to do communication-wise and stuff. And I think the Cup year, especially the pieces that we picked up later in the season at the trade deadline, and Cogliano, Leckie, and Mance, and then a few others as well. It's just those guys just kind of helped push us over the edge, and I think the culture here just kind of spoke for itself in playoffs, and everybody just kind of bought in, and you had that belief. And I think when that belief is there, it's just, you're kind of unstoppable, and that's kind of how we felt as a group. So hopefully you can get that back again. But yeah, that was a cool feeling that year.
You could feel the pressure from Game 1 in that Nashville series. You have Roman Josi versus Cale Makar, arguably the 2 best defensemen in the game, some former Avs. What's the goaltending situation going to be? And the Avalanche took advantage of all the breaks that they were given. A couple overtime wins, and it turned out to be a sweep. And as Joe Sakic says, use rest as a weapon, and they did. And they needed it for that Blues series coming up. The Blues, for whatever reason, were never an easy opponent for the Avalanche. This time around, it was a little more difficult, and the Avalanche, again, had to win a series on the road. The air is let out of the balloon. They have to go back to St. Louis in order to win, and they do. It was at that moment when Darren Helm scored that I think we all knew, and more importantly, they all knew that they were going to win the Stanley Cup. And the Avalanche, because of that, went on to win the series and face the Edmonton Oilers, a matchup that everybody wanted for a long time in the Western Conference Final.
We never really thought about it as, let's get past the second round. It was always kind of that end goal. It's definitely a nerve-wracking moment. Everybody's excited. Obviously, that was such a big moment for us, clinching Stanley Cup Finals, so yeah, it was super cool.
This town was all in. This town was all burgundy and blue. And they wanted more than anything to beat Tampa and to win the Cup. Cale Makar knew that day that they were going to win the Cup. Every single heart in that locker room knew on that day, on June 27, 2022, that the Avalanche were going to win their 3rd Stanley Cup.
I mean, it was pretty crazy. I don't know if you'll ever experience that again. It's just, I mean, I hope we do, but just the atmosphere, you could kind of feel the buzz, whether it was in the city or just being around the rink, and how excited we were as a team, and then how passionate and excited the fans were as an entire core. And just to be able to provide them what we were able to do was so cool. And I know even being a kid and growing up in Calgary, like obviously being super young and watching the Flames in the 04 Cup run, and I mean, I don't remember much of it, but it was just, I'm still talking about it to this day. So hopefully there's kids out there that were inspired by us and just being able to wanting to play hockey or grow the game.
I just look at these guys and all the work these guys have put in. Everybody! Yeah, just all the work. I mean, EJ, Nate, Landy, Mikko, like, been here so many years, ups and downs, and it's just so awesome to be part of them getting rewarded and all their hard work and success over the years. So I'm just so proud of the boys, honestly.
It's like this is the moment. This is what's going to make this team go. And
I feel like from then on, the guys were so driven, and we just had that same mentality of just regardless of where we're playing, we're going to go do our job, and that's it.
Yeah, it was super cool. It was fun because I got to share it with a lot of family and friends that day, and a lot of the community in Calgary where I grew up playing hockey, and I think that was really special. I mean, I couldn't imagine being a kid and just having somebody like bring the cup back in for a day. So for me, that was such an important aspect of it, and I mean, I was there for a long time, but it was so cool. And just to be able to spend that day, there was a lot going on, and I didn't really kind of take much time to kind of take it all in, but hopefully get to do it again at some point.
Like walking us through what it was like today?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Just a lot of like content.
My agent just kind of texted me and said, "Hey, like, what are your thoughts on this?" And I kind of was like, I played NHL a lot growing up, so I thought it would be really cool. But I'm also feel like I'm not the type of guy to kind of put myself out there in the public eye too much. And I kind of just came down to the thought process of I don't want to really look back on this and say I kind of wish I did this. So it's just another cool thing, stepping stone along the way. No, just definitely a cool moment. Obviously, got so many cool messages from family and friends on being that, and they're so excited. So yeah, for me, it's just another side thing, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah, it's been so awesome. I mean, it's been on the kind of the list to do, things to do this past couple of years, and obviously there's so much that goes into this. People helping out, like Bauer sending the gear, and obviously the NHLPA, which Golson Stream, hopped in, and it's been awesome. And then the Avalanche organization as well, just helping out. So I'm very fortunate that we're able to do this and everything came together, but it's been awesome here, and it looks like the kids are having a lot of fun. So.
What's going on? How's it going? Are you guys excited? Yeah, I'm super excited. Well, I hope you guys are excited as I am to be here.
Just being on the cover and them seeing that, they just kind of understand that regardless of where you come from, anything's possible. I mean, at the end of the day, the way that I think about it is just the cover. I don't really think about it as much more than that, but I definitely look back to when I was a kid and playing those games. You always wanted to know who was on the cover, and regardless of how big the game is now, if any kid kind of grasps that and maybe they're like, wow, being a D-man's pretty cool, then maybe they want to become a D-man. But any way that I can help grow the game is pretty cool. So when you think about it like that, it's fun. Not really. I mean, I don't know what message there would be. I think people just enjoy that game, and if there's anything you take away from it, it's just, obviously I'm very honored to be on the cover, and it's a cool moment, but hopefully people are inspired to achieve more. It's a tough question. I think for us as a team, success is just the buy-in of every single guy, regardless of who it is. And I think that was one thing that we've definitely been growing year after year, and then obviously accumulating into the cup year. And for us, when everybody's on the same page and committed and just believing what we all know we're capable of, truly believing it, I think that's when we're a force to be reckoned with. And it's exciting times here again. I think the moves that we made going into this season and the guys that we picked up are awesome, and I'm really excited because I think this team is capable a lot again, and hopefully a lot in the years coming.